Hey everybody, this is John Browning from Guardian Rock Wealth. And as always, this is not investment advice. It's just a little information. I get asked often why I don't like 401ks, and that is actually not true. I like 401ks quite a lot. And if we have a chance to talk a little bit, I'll explain to you why it may not be in your best interest to maximize your 401k contribution. Now, in some cases, it may be exactly what you need to do, but in many cases, this just simply isn't the case. And it's helpful to look at a history of the 401k and retirement here in America to really understand why that is. You see, retirement in the United States was first work until you couldn't work anymore, and then you relied on the community and your family to support you, and of course you had already supported them, so it made a lot of sense. And it's actually quite a bit that way in most other countries around the world today. But as things progressed here in the United States, as people lived healthier and longer, the idea of something better for retirement took hold. And the idea of Social Security and pension plans became a thing. The idea of pension plans was that the company would take responsibility for your retirement for you. So the pension plan is something that the employer sponsored and provided a guaranteed income, not unlike Social Security. And at the same time, Social Security would take care of all that little bit extra that you might need in addition to your pension plan. Well, then the 401k was invented, and if you can believe this, it really was just started talked about in 1978. And the Revenue Act in 1978 was only implemented in 1980. So if you think about it, the 401k is relatively young. As a matter of fact, some of you listening to this were probably around when the 401k didn't exist. Many of you listening to this were probably not around when the 401k first started. I know when I first started work, it was pretty commonplace, but not every company had adopted it, and pensions were still around. And certainly today, pension plans do exist, just not in most companies. And if they do exist, they're on a much smaller basis than they were before. And you can still find pensions in governmental jobs, such as teachers and union workers, things like that. You can still find those pensions out there and available, but almost all major corporations now offer a 401k. And the 401k gave you a way to save for yourself, but the employee now had the responsibility for doing that. And the problem with that is many employees didn't fully understand that it was now their responsibility because this is a new thing. And the other issue with this is, of course, the idea of a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. So many employees said, well, I'd rather have my money now. And the third thing is that many employees were not trained, did not understand how to invest those funds, and they were not given much guidance. As a matter of fact, today, if you do not have a financial advisor that you are talking to about your 401k and how it is allocated, you may just be winging it. You read the papers, you see the headlines, and you try and figure out how you should allocate your 401k. And often when we here at Guardian Rock Wealth take a look at those statements, we find out that the allocations really have not been in your best interest along the way. And usually it's just because you haven't gotten that guidance. It's not something you think about every day. It's not what you do best. It's what I do best. It's my full-time job here at Guardian Rock Wealth. And then the 401k, of course, was traditionally just deferring taxes. So the government's pretty smart, right? And the same thing with the pension and even Social Security for many of you is taxed. But the idea of deferring those taxes just means that as that growth happens along the way, we hope it grows, right? That just means you end up paying even more taxes typically in retirement on that 401k. Unless, of course, a relatively new phenomenon is that part of that 401k can be considered a Roth 401k. And that you can contribute to with tax dollars in today and all the growth on that going forward is not taxed. But that cannot be 100% of the 401k, because anything that your employer contributes cannot be considered a Roth part of your 401k. So hopefully I haven't confused you too much on that front, but the idea that the 401k is free to employees is also a misnomer. So in many, if not most, 401ks passed along to those 401k participants are a lot of hidden fees. Number one, in the actual instruments that they are invested in, they charge a fee typically to manage those funds in those mutual fund portfolios. In addition to that, there's an administration fee. And of course, the administration fee goes to pay a lot of necessary things. The government requires quite a bit of paperwork to be filed to make sure that everything is fair and taken care of correctly, everything is accounted for. That costs money, of course. Everyone has to put food on their own table, so they charge for that. And of course, there's a markup for that for the companies that do that as well. So, all in, you could be paying quite a bit more than you thought for your 401k, which is another reason that I am not as big of a fan as some people think that I should be of the 401k, because there are other methods to save for retirement that are possibly more effective. Now, I'm not talking about the contribution that you make in order to get the company match and things like that. Certainly, if your company is matching 100% of what you put in up to a certain point, I think you probably want to take advantage of that. It's really hard to beat that return, right? But the whole thing about the 401k is it's not guaranteed income. It's not like Social Security. It's not like a pension plan. Often it is not guaranteed income. There are some small circumstances where you can purchase an annuity within your 401k, but those are kind of few and far between, and often, frankly, a little bit abused as well, because when you're younger, it may not make a lot of sense to be investing in an annuity for that guaranteed income, certainly not as 100% of your portfolio. So there's just so many things to think about. And most of the time, folks don't get the proper financial advice on their 401k, because often as financial advisors, it's somewhat difficult to manage those for their clients. Now, we have a way of doing that here at Guardian Rock Wealth, but many places find it very difficult to do. So when people don't get the proper advice, they end up allocating their assets in ways that may not be beneficial to them. So I hope this has been somewhat helpful for you today. And just remember, guaranteed income in retirement is a very valuable thing to think about. Certainly not with 100% of your funds, but that's the way things were set up originally with the idea of the pension plans. So I hope, again, this has been helpful. This is Guardian Rock Wealth. My name is John Browning. I'm here to help. We are taking new clients. Reach out to us at guardianrockwealth.com. There's a contact us section there, or you can text the word life through to 321-421-5213. We'd love to chat with you no matter where you are in your financial journey. If we can't help you, we'll be happy to refer you to someone who can give you the help that you need. There's a lot involved and a lot of puzzle pieces to put together, and they all interact with one another in different ways. We'll talk to you soon.